Two members of the Gypsy Joker Outlaw Motorcycle Club have been sentenced to life in federal prison.
Police say he was kidnapped, tortured, and murdered by outlaw motorcycle gangsters.
In the world of rebellious bikers and their love for freedom on the open road, there are times when they have to face the results of their actions. Today, we will talk about what happens when bad bikers realize they have been arrested. Earl Fisher, a former member of the infamous Gypsy Jokers, found himself caught up in a murder investigation.
I wonder why I'm here.
Yeah, I'll explain that.
Okay.
The victim? Robert Bagger Bob Huggins, a former club treasurer with a troubled past. Huggins was kicked out of the club for allegedly stealing money to support his drug addiction. This set off a chain of events that led to his horrific death. The club's president, seeking revenge, sent his gang to find Huggins, resulting in a frightening kidnapping, torture, and a body left abandoned. This is the intense police questioning of Earl Fisher, who got caught in the middle of this gruesome biker saga.
Mainly the handcuff ride was the worst part.
Was it?
Yeah, I got a bad shoulder and partially disabled. And,
sorry, I apologize.
No, it's all good.
It wasn't too far. How far did you come from?
to Gresham area.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't too bad.
Okay. Well, hey, I don't want to leave you in too much suspense there, all right? I want to sit down and talk with you and at least kind of let you know what's going on and fill you in. And I don't want to hold any punches from you or anything like that. Just a couple ground rules we got to get off real quick. You obviously know we're at a police station right now.
Check out Earl, always caressing his arm the moment he stepped in, with a vibe like those cuffs gave him a rough ride.
I read them to you, or both. And then if you just want to print your name right below that where it says name printed.
Fisher is calmly signing his rights on the paper that the officer just explained to him. He is definitely maintaining a calm and decent attitude.
Years.
Long time. That's an easy number. I wouldn't get rid of that. Excellent. So, obviously, we want to talk to you about a couple things. I think Agent Belche had some questions for you, or some basics, and like I said, I won't hold anything back. I'll kind of fill you in.
I'm kind of wondering why I'm here.
Yeah, I'll explain that.
Okay.
In a light-hearted manner, Fisher engaged in playful banter with the officers, attempting to ease his own nerves, or perhaps create a favorable image before the official investigation commenced. It appeared that he deliberately adopted an air of ignorance, as if he were playing the role of someone who had no clue about the situation at hand. By acting a bit dim-witted on purpose, he seemed to be feigning unawareness and pretending not to understand what was happening.
You've been in for about how long now?
Like 7 years, I think, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
I actually I saw your booking photo from Utah.
Yeah.
With the Rainbow Coalition.
Yeah.
That sounded like that was a pretty wild event.
I don't know. I never even made it up to the place.
What? I'm just curious. What happened?
I don't know. I mean, one of the guys broke down the side of the road, and we sat there and worked on his bike. The next thing you know, we're leaving and got pulled over.
Oh, because I heard y'all rolled in there, and then they got mad because they didn't like motorcycles or something because they're like very green, and at some point they actually started like flinging poo.
Like I said, I'd never even seen none of the hippies. That's why I didn't understand why I got pulled over. I'm like, why are you stopping me? What did I do wrong? Did I speed down this washboard road that he can't do over 10 miles an hour on your motor?
Agent Belche, a dedicated investigator who has been closely monitoring the club's members for several years, approached Fisher with a question about the recent Rainbow Coalition event in Utah. This event, which aims to support and uplift marginalized communities, particularly within the LGBTQ+ community, has gained popularity since civil rights activist Jesse Jackson's presidential campaign in the 1980s. In an attempt to gather information about the event, Agent Belche pointed out a photo that seemed to indicate Fisher's presence there. However, Fisher quickly refuted the claim, stating that he never actually attended the event. According to his explanation, he was assisting a fellow individual whose bike had broken down. However, his good deed was interrupted when he was pulled over by law enforcement. Fisher confidently and without any hesitation denied attending the event, leaving both of them perplexed and amused by his response. Now, Fisher finds himself in a state of confusion, chuckling and expressing his amusement with an uncertain yet lighthearted response of, ha ha ha, yeah.
I noticed you had a small Simon. I know that's a 5-year patch.
Yep,
So
yep.
I knew you'd been in at least for 5 years. So I assume you were somewhere between 5 and 10?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you been VP the majority of that time, or is
No.
that more of a recent?
Recently,
Okay. How long have you been VP?
year, maybe 2.
Year or two? Oh, okay. And Mark's your P.
Yeah.
Chad's your Sergeant at Arms. Don't know, don't want to tell me. I knew Jason,
Yeah.
and I'm sorry for the loss of Jason.
Yeah, it was a hell of a loss there. Good friend of mine.
I know at
Me and
that
Jason known each other for a long time.
point he was the National Sergeant at Arms. I just assumed Chad.
So there's this awesome thing called the Small Simon Batch. It's like a special treat given to the super cool members who have been part of the group for around 5 whole years. It's kind of a recognition for their dedication and loyalty. How awesome is that? We have Fisher, who rocks the vice president role. He's like the second in command, making sure everything runs smoothly. When asked about his time period in the club and if he had received the Small Simon Batch, he confirmed that, yes, he did. And the president? It's Mark Denklau. He's like the big boss, leading the gang with style and authority. But here's where things got interesting. When the agent asked our Fisher about his connection with Chad Erickson, things got a bit tricky. He seemed a little hesitant to spill the beans. It's like there's some kind of secret and mysterious vibe going on between them. Who knows what's up with that? Maybe he is trying to hide something, a secret. It's all shrouded in mystery.
Would take over as National Sergeant at Arms because they were pretty close. Like I said, I know some things about your club.
Obviously.
I'm not here to bullshit you, and I expect that you won't bullshit me.
Notice how Fisher is straight up silent every single time Chad is mentioned.
Predicament here that you are. But I understand the club life. I understand some of the things that might be going through your mind right now. And I, to a degree, empathize with you over that. And we're going to be getting into some of the details here of why we're here. But I just want you to know I understand where you may be coming from and the rock and the hard place that you may be feeling that you're in. So I just want you to know I get that, okay? And you're in a very, this is real, this is serious, and I think you know that.
Like I said, I just don't even know why I'm here.
Let me help you with that, man. I'm gonna be respectful
I try
to
to be
you.
as law-abiding as I can.
No, I get it. So, like I said, I want to be respectful to you. I don't want to play the cat and mouse game. I know you've probably had run-ins with the police before.
Yes.
I'm going to do something that probably most police officers don't do, okay? And I'm going to kind of fill you in on some stuff, okay? So before you say anything, let me give you a little bit. Let me help you out here, fill you in on why we're here, what we want to talk about. And like I said, be respectful to you and at least show you, that we're not sitting here playing games with you. Fair enough?
Yeah.
Awesome. So I want to talk to you about a guy named, he goes by Bagger Bob.
Yeah.
Okay? First and foremost, obviously, I'm sure you know who he is, but the reason I want to talk to you is obviously, as we all know, he died a while back. Okay? So we've been investigating that. We've talked to a lot of people. Okay? We've done a lot of homework. Not necessarily myself, but a lot of people have. We've been running grand juries here. People have gone to grand juries today, yesterday. As you can probably imagine, it's late in the day. We are waiting for you to get moving, but a lot of people have moved before you, meaning that a lot of people have already been in the same seat and are being talked to as we speak. Okay? And like I said, I'm going to throw you a bone, and I'm going to be perfectly respectful and honest to you, and all I ask is that you do.
This man, armed with brilliant strategies, skillfully navigates the intense questioning. With a mischievous smile and carefully chosen words, he slyly responds using his genius tactics. His go-to phrases, "I'm clueless, you guys are the experts," and the classic, leave the officer and agent astounded. But just when you think the pressure is mounting, Mr. Fisher remains calm and composed, maintaining a poker face throughout. Despite being the former vice president and having a wealth of knowledge, he refuses to reveal anything. This guy is no fool. He's well aware that he lacks legal representation, and any slip of the tongue could be used against him. The plot thickens as the officers and agents resort to their secret weapon, dropping the name of a club member known as Bagger Bob, who was a former member of the Gypsy Joker motorcycle gang. He met a gruesome fate after committing a burglary and holding the gang leader's girlfriend hostage at gunpoint. This chilling tale unfolded in a court hearing, revealing the disturbing details of the incident. The lifeless body of Robert Lee Huggins, nicknamed Bagger Bobby, was discovered in a field in Clark County, Washington on July 1, 2015. The police investigation uncovered evidence pointing to a horrifying torture session before his death. Huggins had endured unimaginable pain. His nipple was cruelly removed, nails were driven through his boots, and he suffered a broken leg, rib, and fractured skull. The killers had also left their mark on him, carving an X onto his body. Additionally, they knocked out his teeth and relentlessly slashed his face and back with a knife. As if this savagery wasn't enough, the gang, the Gypsy Jokers, went even further to sever ties with Huggins. They stripped him of his patches, symbolic identifiers of his affiliation, and seized his motorcycle. But with unwavering poise and an unyielding expression, Fisher continues to answer every question as if he's completely oblivious to the subject matter. It's quite remarkable that someone with his level of knowledge can play it so cool. This man's cleverness knows no bounds. He understands the gravity of his situation and the potential consequences of his words.
We're in the same position, okay? Especially myself. You know, like I said, I'm going to throw you a bone. I know when the incident went down. I know that you left your house. I know you came back to your house. I know that you picked up Mark. I know you drove to Holiday. I know you dropped Mark back off. I know you drove north. I'm trying to show you some credit here and show you that I'm not bluffing you. I'm not screwing with you. I'm not disrespecting you. Obviously, as you can see, we've talked to people. I'm not going to lie to you. People have given you up. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you and tell you that I don't think it came from you. Okay? Based on people smarter than I. Based on evidence. I don't. But I don't want to see you sitting in that seat and taking the wrath of everyone pointing the finger. That's why we're here, my man. I'm honest with you.
Yep.
Okay? I'm not bullshitting, as you probably see. So, it's not about you helping us today. Okay? I'm serious. It's about you helping yourself.
The officer is desperately trying to convince him to reveal some information, but this man is unfazed, sitting calmly at a 90-degree angle without a hint of confusion on his face. It's as if he's already mapped out his plan and knows exactly what he wants to do. We can definitely say he came fully prepared for this situation. He anticipated the questions he would be asked and how the officer would try to persuade him, yet he chose to remain silent, keeping his mouth tightly shut and his expressions neutral. He provided only basic answers, refusing to disclose any details about Bagger Bob, except for what's already common knowledge. It's as if he's guarding a precious secret, locked away from prying eyes. The mystery surrounding him only deepens.
Sorry, I didn't make it up, because it's true, what I just said. You with me? That's why we're sitting here today. Okay?
He sat there, his face completely expressionless. The officer wondered if he had drifted off, lost in his own thoughts. All he did was listen and respond with a simple, The officers attempted to engage him by recounting the events of the day, hoping to elicit a reaction, but he remained unresponsive. They tried to convince him that they were there to assist him, emphasizing that if anything went awry, all blame would fall on him. They assured him that he could confide in them, but this man opted for silence above all else.
How do you know Bagger Bob?
He was a member of our club for a while.
Okay, what happened? And again,
He got kicked out.
okay, what's the deal? I guess IV use, that's what I'm gathering.
Yeah.
Okay, was he stealing too?
I couldn't tell you for sure.
Okay. Hypothesize?
I don't know. I mean, it's like some guys don't get told everything, man.
Okay. What's that?
Some guys don't get told everything.
Oh, okay. I get it. So I guess when I ask you some of these questions, I don't want you to tell me anything you don't know. But if it's something you hear, fill me in on that and say this is something that's a rumor. Okay? I'll take it with a grain of salt.
Sure.
But just to kind of, you with me? Okay.
But let me just add one thing. Like I said, I'm not going to bullshit you. Please do not bullshit me. And I know as vice president, you are going to know why he got kicked out.
I know a lot less than you think I do.
you know what, I know you know a lot, okay? So just do us that courtesy.
Sure.
If you don't want to answer the question, that's one thing, but don't just.
I said, I don't know if he stole it. I mean, I heard that he was using drugs, you know what I mean, heroin or something like that, I heard. And that's about all I know about it all, you know what I mean?
Okay.
When questioned about his acquaintance with Bob, he confidently claimed to be a mere member. If you observe his body language, you'll notice he frequently makes gestures and movements as if he's oblivious to the topic being discussed. The officer and agent reiterated that as the vice president of the club, he must be aware of many things, and urged him to share what he knew. However, this man employed a clever strategy. He remained resolute in his stance, insisting that he had no knowledge whatsoever. This guy cleverly managed to resolve the investigation for the time being, at least, by sticking to his story.
Obviously, he gets kicked out. Roughly when is that?
Boy. Couple of years, maybe 2 years, maybe.
Okay.
I mean, my memory is so fucked up from,
I get it.
you know what I mean? I fell off a roof and I got really bad memory loss shit. So I mean,
Okay.
he'd asked me what I was doing last weekend. It's going to be pretty vague because I can't really nail it all down for him.
Man, I'm in the same boat you are. I can't remember either.
Huh?
What happened to your eye?
I'm blind in my eye from falling off a roof.
Oh, that's how you hurt your back?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I'm partially disabled in my leg and.
And then you also got stabbed in the neck.
Yeah, I got my throat cut from here to here.
Back in 2009?
Something like that.
Was it here to here?
It's from here to here.
Oh my God.
Starts right here about my Adam's apple and goes back to right here somewhere.
Okay.
The officers must be incredibly frustrated by now with the suspect's constant uncertainty and vague gestures. However, they are well trained to handle such evasive behavior, especially when questioning someone with high-ranking access like the vice president. It's undeniable that as VP, he would possess insider information that is not common knowledge. Yet just when they thought they had seen it all, Fisher pulls off a masterful move by claiming to have fallen off a roof and suffering from memory lapses. Inquiring about the details of his fall, the detectives were hoping for a straightforward response. They expected him to provide a precise answer, considering it was an event he experienced firsthand. Instead, the suspect persisted with his memory loss narrative, continuing to assert that he couldn't recall specific details. He even went as far as suggesting a random year, mumbling, maybe 2011 or something? Mr. Fisher's elusive behavior and improbable explanations are certainly testing the patience of the officers. Despite their frustration, they remain steadfast in their training, determined to uncover the truth.
So he gets kicked out, and then we fast forward to a period several months, or about a month prior to his death, where he decides to do something to someone in the club, from what I understand, or someone in their family. What do you know about that?
Very little. I mean, you guys know more than I know.
They revisited the murder case, honing in on Bob's scheme to extract information from a club relative. Their goal was to uncover valuable insights, but this man remained resolute with his body language conveying a single message: I don't know.
I think I'm a pregnant lawyer, man. I have to invoke that right at this point, I think.
Okay. Perfect. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, man.
Okay.
All right. Why don't you just stay put here?
Okay.
In a thrilling twist, as he faced losing everything, he made a brilliant move and called for a lawyer. Smart thinking. He first straight up acted clueless about everything that happened, not denying anything but not confessing also, and then ending it all by asking for his right to have a legal aid.
No.
Doing okay?
Yeah.
Man.
A couple Vicodin would be nice, but I ain't got none of those.
I don't know that I have it around, all right?
He playfully bantered with the officers, just to make a memorable impression, I suppose. Keeping the vibes light and enjoyable, he sprinkled some humor on their way out. And that's how this investigation ended. Throughout the investigation, he played all dumb and clueless, though it's pretty obvious that he definitely knew a lot of stuff. But this man played it cool all the way till the end.